Okay, I'm back. Now what I did was, I actually assembled it one time myself just to make sure I was doing everything right. So there's a couple things I noticed about this, depending on which type of SKS you have. And what I've noticed is on the receiver, it will look like this basically. When you split it in half, go ahead and flip it the other direction and loosen just these top 5 set screws, I guess just regular Allen head screws. Reason being, and you need to take this into account, is if your SKS is the SKS model that has this switch to fire a grenade. This is a grenade launcher also. It's a single shot grenade launcher. What that does, that turns it into, it closes basically the piston chamber so that way air does not go back into the bolt and cycle another round. Because what you're going to do is you're actually going to put a grenade in here, turn this up, put a grenade in here, flip this way, and then flip that up. For this setup, I'm not going to use a grenade launcher whatsoever. However, now that it's on semi-automatic fire, this is actually and CBRPS needs to take this into accountability. Mine, for some reason, hits. I got interference clearance right here. So what I did was, I actually took an end mill and just trimmed out that little area just so the disc shape on this part actually fits in it. And that's why you need to actually loosen this part. You gotta loosen this part of the top end of the receiver so that way it'll clear it and then you can fold it back over. Now it actually has, the groove that's cut into it is basically a half moon shaped disc. I don't know if you can see that. So when it does fit in there, it will clear and actually hold that disc in that position. Not that it's supposed to move. I don't think it'll move anyways. So, along with the setup. Now the setup, you want to put on your trigger mechanism first. Okay. Best thing to do is go ahead and remove this set screw instead of this one. Being as this is in that polymer plastic, the more times you remove it and install it, you're going to wear out the plastic rather than this is, I don't know what type of grade aluminum that is, but it's a lot tougher than this. So we'll remove this. Let's set this to the side. Now turn this way. Okay. What you're going to do is actually slide it through the trigger mechanism or your trigger. And go ahead and, the gun is empty by the way, but just make you feel better. I just went ahead and racked it. So I'm going to go ahead and release the trigger. It's already released. And the best thing to do is to slide this inside here, push the trigger back. When you do that, it clears this area. Now what I found out about this is there's a lot of friction in between here, but it does work as long as you got a good spring on your trigger that has enough pressure to push back the trigger mechanism through the whole bar assembly. So what you do is hold your rifle like this and actually maneuver and guide the extended trigger into the receiver. You get it about yay so. Go ahead and drop in your whole barrel for your rifle system, and then take the screw that you had last time and just finger bang it in there. Finger tighten it, I guess you should say. Actually, go ahead and tighten it in there. Now, I'm not good with this computer stuff, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this fast motion I'll put it in slow motion or time lapse. So I'll do the best I can to speed this up. Okay. Give it a good, nice, tight wedge. You don't have to worry about this one too much, because this one is already, you don't want to strip that. You just want to keep it just, it's not going nowhere. So, as you can see, here is that disc shape for the grenade launcher. And as you can see, it actually slips into that groove that I cut out with an end nail. So hopefully maybe the manufacturing company, CBRPS, will actually take that in accountability and maybe adjust for that. Okay, so I'm going to test the trigger. It has free play down here. Now on this side is the safety. It doesn't recess all the way in when it's on safety. So when you put it on fire, it'll recess all the way in. Okay, enough of that. The important part is to actually get your mag release here to line up also. And this is the important part, because if not, you won't be able to get it in there. So, on the mag release, make sure you get that guide pin into the other opposite end of the slot or hole. What we're going to do is set it down on this working surface. You got a flat head or flush mount into this countersink. Go ahead and put that in there and give it just a couple of turns so that way you can get it lined up with the provided Allen wrenches that I give you. We gave you 3 of them. Now from here, go ahead and line up your mag release. Slide that up in there. So you have 2 mag releases. You have the original from the SKS, and then you have the one from the receiver. And when it will come into play, you'll see how well it works. Matter of fact, here's a magazine. When you push it in, it's real simple. I mean, the mag well is kind of out of shape, but it doesn't matter which one it catches first. As long as it catches one, then you can rock it into the other side. Now, you can release it from the stock one, which I don't recommend. It's so much easier to just push this away and it flops out. Got another magazine with rounds in it, obviously. It's not a bad setup. So I want you continuing with it, with the assembly. Now right here you can see where they actually cut out a hole for the grenade launcher selector switch. On the top part of the rail, underneath this rail system, obviously you saw where I cut out that little bitty notch. It makes all the difference because before this rail was at a canted angle and it wouldn't go back down. I couldn't line up any of the holes for the bolts. And then when I trimmed that out, I was able to get that interference to go away, and now it will go assembled all together. So we'll go ahead and finger tighten some of these real quick. So you got these 5, and then these 2 small ones in comparison to these sides, to the size of these. You got that one large one in the middle and 2 small ones. These 2 small ones are going to go down here, which I didn't understand why they just didn't stick with the big ones. Takes that really small Allen wrench. About slow. You don't really need to tighten too much. This is a polymer plastic and it will strip. Again, this is a polymer plastic. It will strip. You're going to have to save 2 button head Allen set screws for your rear stop. Now on the back here, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can get some light in here. If you look inside here, which I doubt you can see, there is a slot. Now that slot, I don't know if you can see that. There's a slot in there. That slot actually aligns with this. This actually goes inside the slot, inside the rear buttstock. And then all you got to do is just line up these holes on each side, right here, and then put these last 2 screws in. And that'll be it. So we'll go ahead and put these in there. Now you can actually see the trigger mechanism. There's a lot of travel. It feels kind of sloppy. It's noisy. But it's functional. It's effective. This is more of a novelty item. It still probably might make you a better shooter. And it looks definitely so much cooler than stock. Is it worth it? I don't know. If you can afford it, why not get it? It's free country. Okay, so we got that on, we got that on. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten up these 10 bolts right here. I got 5 on each side. Mind you, I have to release the tension on the other side so that way I can capture the selector switch for the grenade launcher. So we're almost done with this. I believe this is just about it. Now on the safety on the stock SKS, you got to turn the safety on to fire, because if not, you can't really reach it too well to select it back there. Your selector switch is now here. You don't have to worry about the selector switch on the actual rifle. Okay. Alright, so hopefully this wasn't painful for you. Don't get it too tight and strip this plastic. Again, this is polymer plastic. We'll strip. Okay. That's it. obviously I need some practice with this. It was totally different from any SR or AK. So you can do it like this and release it right here. And put the next one back in. It doesn't have a magwell system like an AK or an AR, or SR, I call it. It's very unorthodox, but it looks pretty radical. And it's a lot shorter than your standard SKS. It's so much more compact. Before, that barrel was like 2 feet away. Now it's about 6 inches. Now charging it, still got to charge it with the right hand until we can find some kind of charging system on the left side, which I believe there can be one made. Looks like there's enough clearance right here to slide a bolt or some kind of tubing in there just to lock that to the rear. Now they say this thing's got some kind of slam bolt release, and there it is. It's actually it's released. Now on this side, all you got to do is actually lift that, where they say you can slam it, but I don't see it working. So you actually just got to pull from one side to the other. Now all you got to do is actually do this. So you're actually lifting it and pushing it towards the forward end of toward the rifle instead of the aft end. Now mind you, there's some tension release on there. Actually, what you got to do is you can just grab this right there and release it. And it's just held on just by tension. So if I grab the buttstock and actually twist it, it'll actually send the bolt forward. The idea is cool, but there's so much spring tension and it's driving it forward. Now if I push this way, it won't do it. As soon as I release that tension and pull this